Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive, staying alive. Feel the city breaking and everybody shaking, you're staying alive, staying alive. Ha, 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 staying alive, staying alive. Ha, 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 staying alive. It's Misty Skills again. And I'm just singing that song because that song is 100 beats per minute, which is what the tick system is in RuneScape. I freaking love the tick system, and I think that you can love the tick system without always thinking about it all the time. I kind of instinctually play to the beat. It's kind of like a rhythm game to me. And as long as you're staying on rhythm, you are playing with the tick system.
All right, here we are. Hello and welcome to episode 227 of the Wilderness Podcast. I am Dills and joined, as usual, Mr. Heartless.
Hey, what's up, Dills?
Oh, not a whole lot. There is really not a whole lot to talk about this week. We got teasers for a December 10th Winter Summit. It's like replacing RuneFest. I hope it's not replacing it, but this is what we've been getting since RuneFest stopped being a thing. So that's happening on December 10th, the Winter Summit. So maybe we can talk about what we expect to see there, but they didn't really tell us a whole lot. But honestly, that is pretty much it in the ways of news. Before I ask you how your week's been, OSRS, well, I should say RuneScape in general went dark this week. I think it was on Tuesday. The servers were down. I didn't get to play RuneScape for like over 36 hours, which like doesn't sound like a big deal, but I assure you, I mean, we all know that's a pretty big deal. I went to bed. I didn't get to play until I woke up 2 days later, basically. Insane stuff. So Heartless, how did you make do on this?
How did I survive? It's funny, kind of coincided with, I had a week off work for some reasons, but basically I had some bank time that I had to use. So I picked him up last week, and a friend of mine came for a visit, and he does not play RuneScape. So we ended up playing other games together for most of the week. So I barely played RuneScape. I hopped on for the occasional task.
So you were taking a bit of a tolerance break.
I was taking a bit of a break for a week. So yeah, it was nice. So we played Slay the Spire, some Civ 6. What else did we play? A little bit of League. Yeah, we played a bit of everything. Yeah, we played some FIFA. I'm like big into FIFA as well for console. I used to play a ton in college. So another friend, a mutual friend, came over and we had like a big FIFA tourney and drafted up some teams and juiced some players. It was really fun.
Oh, that does sound like a good time.
Had a bunch of drinks on like a Tuesday night. It was great.
Hell yeah. That's it. Partying on a Tuesday.
Hell yeah. So this was a good week. And yeah, it kind of coincided when I was coming back. The game was the first night I really got to play was last night, and the servers happened to come back right when I logged in. So
that worked out.
Yeah, convenient. But yeah, I heard a bunch of people were struggling.
You heard the news. Did you get up to anything else this week, or was that it pretty much?
No, that's pretty much it. Work's busy this time of year. So, I mean, I'm sure everyone says that, but it's all good.
The cringe period.
Oh, and we got bingo coming up too. I'll drop an announcement about that at the end of the pod, maybe.
Oh, how exciting.
Yep.
The winter bingo. Always got to look forward to. Like, it's like, what's more important, Christmas or like winter bingo, right? Like, what are you more excited for?
I mean, honestly, you want my honest answer? It's bingo. But I mean, Christmas is fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love Christmas, and I'm looking forward to having dinner with my family. But I'm also looking forward to DJing with the boys the next night. So because it is starting on the 26th.
Yep, that's it. We no longer get a bunch of presents, so now it's just all about seeing family, and it's like, you want to see family, or do you want to hang out with some friends and play video games?
Strictly want purple wrapping paper this year.
Yeah. Sick. So very exciting stuff. Myself, I had to really weather the storm of the OSRS, the great blackout of 2022. It was down for a day. The data servers or the data center where RuneScape stuff is stored. Someone unplugged something, so it wasn't working, and then we didn't get to play for quite some time. So it was really only a day, but it's funny when, like, if I were to go tell like someone who doesn't play video games or doesn't play RuneScape, or I want to go tell my partner, hey, RuneScape servers are down for the night, she'd be like, okay, well, whatever, big deal. But like I was like, I don't even know what to do. Like I'm usually in the evening, I'm on Discord talking with people playing RuneScape, or I'm playing RuneScape and watching Netflix, or playing RuneScape and playing another game on the side. RuneScape's always there. Suddenly it wasn't there, and I was like, I really don't know what to do. Like, what do I do with my evening now that RuneScape's not there? It's strange. I think a lot of people have this, where it's like we play so much RuneScape, it's gone for a bit, and you have this like void where you're like, well, I don't even know what I do in the evenings anymore. But so I got to rewind a little bit. So a couple weeks ago, this is the stories that are going to connect. I went to a Magic pre-release event. So there's a game store nearby, and Magic the Gathering, this card game that I did a really good job at like never getting into it, because I was, I really liked Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid, but I didn't really stay with it for too long. And then Heartless, you introduced me to Magic.
Yep.
And it really fucked everything up.
I think I got a bunch of people in the clan.
Yeah. So been playing Magic, and then they have these pre-releases like every 4 months where they have like all these new cards that come out, and you can show up. It's like $40. You get like 10 packs of cards. You open the cards, and you got to build a deck right there with the cards. And it's from all the new cards that are coming out. So it's a really good time. I've been to 3 of them now, and they're a lot of fun. Like, I really look forward to when they're happening. And moving to this new city, I didn't really know anyone, so I was like, okay, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to meet some new people, and it's just going to be a great time overall. And it was a great night. But at the end of the night, I saw these couple of people were talking about another card game. They were playing another card game after the pre-release event was over. So I kind of went over, and I was like talking with them a bit and trying to watch what they're doing. And they were playing this new card game called Flesh and Blood. Have you ever heard of this card game?
Yeah.
You have heard of it. It came out like during the pandemic, and it's been picking up some traction over the years, but it's not like super mainstream yet, but it's got like some dedicated players for it. But anyway, I was watching them play it, and they started telling me about the game and stuff, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. Anyways, that was about it. But then I went home, and then I was watching a Magic channel that I really like, and I saw they started doing videos about this new Flesh and Blood card game. By the way, I hate the name Flesh and Blood. I think that's an awful name for the card game. But I started watching these videos, and I was like, it looks kind of cool. Looks kind of interesting. And so I've joined my local game store's Discord server, and they talk about like Magic and Pokemon, all the different hobby shop sort of hobbies. So yeah, Magic, Pokemon, I think Digimon a little bit, Yu-Gi-Oh! And then a lot of people have been talking about Flesh and Blood. So then I've been seeing them talk about it. And they were doing a Monday night Flesh and Blood game. And I was like, this game actually looks kind of fun. You can pick up a pre-con, like a deck already put together for like $15. So it's not a whole lot of money.
Oh no.
And just for like, to compare like a Magic pre-con deck, some of them can be like, I've bought some that were like $50. I mean, you get over double the amount of cards because they're just different games. It's like 100 cards, and then it's 40 cards for this Flesh and Blood pre-con. So I went to the night and I played it. Man, I don't know if I think it's too early to say, but I think I'm hooked on this game.
Oh no, Dills.
It's really
your
fun.
Wallet, I can hear 1,000 Dills wallet screaming out in the background.
I know I can't. I'm not rich by any means. I can't afford 2 trading card games, and I almost got into Warhammer. I have decided not to go to any Warhammer events.
I know you dodged that bullet, and you fell onto the ground right onto the sword that was Flesh and Blood. You dodged right into it, dude.
You're like the friend that's like, hey, do you want to try weed? And so you introduce weed to me, and then the next week, and I'm like, bro, you think weed's crazy? Check out this heroin. You gotta try this
You go
stuff.
right
Anyway,
to heroin, right from weed, straight to it. Hey, Jesus, what a jump! You don't even stop by like ecstasy first or something.
whatever it is.
He's going
yeah,
right off the deep end, right into the
Flesh and
opioids.
Blood game has looked really cool, and so I had a lot of fun learning. I got destroyed. I lost every single match,
Of course,
but yep, of course. But I've been like watching videos, reading articles, and that's what I did all Tuesday. I just sat down and I was just crushing YouTube videos. So what Flesh and Blood is like, it's your standard trading card game, but it's like if you took Diablo, you took Slay the Spire, and you took League of Legends, and you smushed them all together.
Oh, that sounds good, dude. I love Slay the Spire.
It's a good game. I know, I've been playing that a lot too. But the way the game is you get your hero. It's all, so Magic, you're summoning monsters and stuff. Same with Yu-Gi-Oh! You're like summoning an army of monsters and you fight with those. But in Flesh and Blood, you have your one hero and it's got some abilities that it can do. And then there's a bunch of equipment cards that you can just have. So when you start the game, you put your hero down and you have these equipment cards you decide to put on it. So there's a weapon, there's a helmet slot, chest slot, legs, and hand slot, an arm slot. And you can there's a bunch of different equipment you can use to like customize your hero. So that's like your basic setup. And then every turn you draw like actions. And instead of it being like monsters fighting, it's you and another hero, like the two heroes fight each other like a duel. It's really cool because you start off, the first round is you're at your strongest. You have all of these equipment pieces and they all have different abilities that you can pop off. You're just like sending these huge attacks at the beginning of the game. But then as time goes on, your equipment gets destroyed, your equipment gets removed, and you're just like slowly battering each other down to like one hit point at a time. These big hits like start slowing down, and it really feels like these two heroes are just swinging to the fences. Anyways, it's a cool concept. It's just different, and I think I'm kind of hooked. I already had to talk to my partner. She was like, Dills, you have D&D one night, you go to Commander one night, and now you want to go to Flesh and Blood another night. She's like, you can't dedicate all these nights to these like card games and stuff. And I was like, I know, I got to figure out what I got to do. But yeah, it's a really cool game.
I'm glad you like it, but I'm also sad you like it because Rip Dills. He's going in the deep end on another game.
Oh, I know. It's tough too. It's it can be a bit of a doozy because these cards, they can get expensive. Especially if you're trying to build like a really nice commander deck on Magic, and you're also building a nice blitz deck, or I forget the other mode's called, but a nice blitz deck. They can be there's cards there that are kind of expensive, and
they can be. Yeah, it depends how you play, right? Yeah,
totally. Anyway, so that's right now something I'm very excited to keep looking into some more, but we'll see. We'll see if I have a change of heart, if I continue to lose, if that changes my opinions of stuff. But on the RuneScape side of things, I have kept on playing my defense only UIM, my little snowflake account. And I was listening to the last episode. Whenever I edit an episode, I listen to the whole thing. I don't think I was articulating why I've actually been enjoying the Snowflake UIM so much. I keep mentioning that it's like a puzzle on top of the game mode, but this week I had I guess maybe it was last week, I had a really fun time planning out what to do with this account. So it's basically a skilling account, but I am training defense, but no HP and no other combat stats. So it's all about like how can I get experience to train my defense? You know, a lot comes from quest rewards. Some come from a lot comes from diary rewards as well. And then there's like other means to get defense experience, but it's really slow. And so this week I've been deciding there's a lot of quests I can't do right now because I need to kill something. And there's this poison dynamite that's going to be coming out in the future. I thought it was going to come out this week, but it didn't. And it's going to allow you to kill things without gaining experience. It's an item meant for these 10 HP Snowflake accounts. So there's a bunch of stuff I can't kill till then. And same with diaries. A lot of diaries are locked behind kill this, kill that. So I'm not going to kill them right now, and I'll wait till that's done. But But one of the diaries required me crafting some water runes. So I had to figure out, like, okay, I got to get some water runes. I mean, I got to get a talisman. Like, where do you get a talisman? So I looked it up, and the easiest ways to get a talisman, it seemed like it was killing different monsters. The monsters will drop it if you kill it. So I was like, shit, that's not really doable for me. And then there was other ways, I think, with hunting, like hunting imps, but they were really rare. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, none of these are really going to work for my account. But I saw that with the release of Guardians of the Rift, they have the talisman shop. I could just buy a talisman from there. I was like, okay, sweet. So I have to do Guardians of the Rift to get my water talisman from the shop, which means I need to do the Temple of the Eye quest, which means I need to get level 10 rune crafting and also complete the Abyss. So it's like this little, like one small favor, but it's just account progression. And so I did that. I did the Abyss, brought me from level 1 to 10 rune crafting. I did Temple of the Eye quest for Guardians of the Rift, brought me from level 10 to level 30 rune crafting. And then I did a bunch of Guardians of the Rift on my UAM just so that I could get enough of the pearls in order to buy a talisman. So I spent some time there. And so not only do you have all these like different steps to like do, which is like, that's kind of normal for an Iron account, but there's like this, it's a lot of problem solving when you do a Snowflake account. You can't just go and kill something for the talisman. You got to go figure out another way to get it. Or maybe you find that you can't get it. That happens to me all the time. I'm going down this like path of like do this, then that, and this, and that. And then I hit a wall of like, I can't even get this item because X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, that's the problem with snowflakes. Is that you take so much planning and sometimes you just mess up if you miscalculate a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like you just have to be okay with like, okay, this is not a part of my account. Like one thing I was like, oh, I'll go do Barrows, but I can't get to Mauritania without getting prayer experience. So either the whole area of like Mauritania is just not available to me, or I decide to level up my prayer, which I probably would want to do if I want to kill Barrows anyways. That's a bridge to cross later. But yeah, there's a lot of things you're like, I guess I can't really do this without breaking the account. But then when I was doing Guardians of the Rift, even that was like refreshing. I've done a bunch of Guardians on the Rift to my main, and just having a bank, you can have the optimal inventory setup so you can know, okay, I mine this many of the essence at like, at 150, I go and craft some runes. And by the time I'm out, the special portal, that special portal that brings you to the other rune, the other mining area, that pops open. So you can go do that. And then you come back out, you can send 2 more rune crafting trips before the next one pops up. Like everything's down to a pattern. But what was refreshing with the UIM is like my inventory space, I have like 20 slots open. And I was like, I don't know what the rhythm is. And also like, you're just doing all this like janky stuff because you have no inventory to like do the optimal setup. And I realized I could make the little guardians. You can make these little guardian dudes who go fight the abyssal things and you get a bit of crafting experience. So I made a bunch of those, and then I got yelled at by a bunch of people because they were like, stop making the weak guardians. You're going to make us lose. So I was like, well, I need the crafting experience from them. So I'll make like 6 instead of 10. I'll make like 6 or 7, and then no one will get mad. Anyways, so it's been a lot of fun. You hit these like little paths where you go down this like huge rabbit hole where you're like, all I needed is this water talisman. And now you're doing a bunch of different quests, and you just need the water talisman for the Lumbridge diaries just so that you can get a little bit of defense experience. And you need the defense experience for rune armor so that I can go do these other quests without, being a little bit more tanky. I don't got to worry about dying as much. Anyways, it's fun. It's been refreshing to play this account for my main. So
I am glad you're enjoying the 10 HP life. Not for me. Strictly 99 or 0.
That is totally fair. Anyways, that being said, is there anything you want to talk about before we jump on over to the news?
No.
Really, the 2 pieces of news we have is, let's start with the summer summit or the winter summit. They really they really, was it clickbaited us? They did Jagex did a live stream, and when they do a live stream, they do like an announcement in game, so you could like, it pops up on your screen, hey, we're doing some sort of message, and you can click and go look at their live stream. And they made a message saying like, we have some really juicy news. This is going to be a huge live stream. I was like, oh shit. So I tuned in, and they played a trailer of the Winter Summit. It was a trailer for the Winter Summit. And that was it. The big news was that they have big news on another day to drop for us. So a little disappointed that we didn't get any really cool information, but we do have a December 10th Winter Summit with a bunch of cool information that we're going to get for next year. I'm curious to see if you have any idea what they might pitch. I will say there were some, I don't know if there were clues, but the trailer they played was this slow shot of like someone going into what looked like a tavern. Maybe it was the tavern located in Relica or some sort of barbarian village looking area. And that's what it was. And you had a bunch of people just drinking and celebrating. That was all we got teased. And really, it's like sort of the biggest news of the week, I guess. It's kind of a slow week, but any ideas what they might announce?
I'm thinking maybe because recently they've gone in a slightly different direction with polling. They've kind of let us poll some details. They're kind of like, we're adding this to the game. You get to decide the details, which I think is a good direction to go with the polls once they've sort of found out whether we want it in the game or not. So do you want a new master level quest? It's like, yeah, well, sure. We trust their quests have been pretty good. So we're into that. But they're not going to give us the details exactly. They're maybe going to tell us what the boss drops, but not what the boss is. So I really like that direction. I'm wondering if they would do that with a new skill. I think it's definitely something they want to put into the game. It would be great for marketing. And I think it would be good for the game. But the skill we've talked about this so many times, it has to be unique. So it's new skill. I think they could maybe poll it, but they would definitely show us what the skill is, or at least some kind of a base idea of what it could look like. So I think that's a possibility. I think we're going to get a bunch of guilds next year, or at least one major guild update. So whether that's like a thieving guild, kind of like akin to the farming guild, where maybe there's contracts where you have to go out and thieve, this guy in this house and then come back for a reward. And maybe they add NPCs, something like that. So where there's like guild-based contracts. I think that'd be pretty sweet. Yeah, those are the main two. There's definitely going to be some PVM next year. I'm hoping that they release some kind of high-level content like the three guys. What's it called? Under Mount Cruel. Like I've talked about this before. Like Inferno style, but farmable. Maybe with a 4% mage cape would be a super sick flex. Make it super hard to get like Inferno. Because it's not like it's an upgrade for sure. And especially when you have a shadow, it's really good. But I mean, it's really not that crazy of an upgrade. Kind of like the Inferno cape. It's really good, but only when you get to a certain stage of the game. So I think that could be super sick. Yeah, those are kind of like my main things I'd be into, or that I'm thinking they might bring.
I think you're gonna be right, especially because like they've had these game jams. I think they've done 2 now where it was like, I think it kind of replaced their FAP time. So they used to have FAP time, which was
it's the best time of the day. It's the best time.
No work was getting done.
No, it's their actual no work gets done during FAP time. It's their actual like Friday afternoon. Not play, but something. Friday afternoon play. Jesus Christ. Rebrand from FAP to, what did they rebrand? Just a TAP, didn't they?
Yeah, they called it TAP, but it happened on Friday. So it's like, the idea is like Thursday afternoon personal projects or something like that. Thursday afternoon projects where it's like, you could do whatever you want, which actually sounds like an awesome thing to have in a workplace where it's like, you can sit down and you can come up with a quest. You can come up with a new boss. Whatever it is, you can come up with anything you want in the game, and it's just for fun. And if it becomes like an actual, hey, this looks like a good idea, then they pitch it to the community, and then sometimes the community loves it. Sometimes they shit on people relentlessly, and then people are like, you know what? Next FAP time, I'm actually gonna go that, or just just not gonna make a project. I'm just gonna go get lunch.
Yeah, and so many of them leave, like the projects end up being like discarded and stuff. So it's tricky. But we've had some cool things come out of this, out of the FAP time.
Yeah, now it's game jam, so it seems like they probably might do it every couple of months where people can just collaborate. And I think it's like game jams happen all the time just in the world, where you get a bunch of these people who are usually like indie people who work in the indie gaming industry, whether you're like a sound designer or maybe you make graphics or maybe you're a game designer or whatever it is. And these little pods of people kind of group up and they have like a weekend to create a game. That's what a game jam usually is. And a lot of good games come out from that. I think Stardew Valley might have come out from a game jam. Like at least that's where things got rolling. I know that there's like a bunch of games that end up. Maybe I think Slay the Spire might have come out from a game jam.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely good to like let people have time to pursue their own projects.
And it helps, like, yeah, you get to collaborate. It's a good time, boosts morale, and it's just like a lot of fun. So they've had 2 of these now, and we've seen some like stuff as simple as like new dog pets with like 20 different dogs, which I don't know why we don't have that yet. New hair designs, right? That's pretty cool. And then people are making content. So like you mentioned, it's like the Inferno, but instead of being like 3 hours long, it's maybe, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. I don't even know how long, but instead of it being like 70 waves of monsters, it's like 6 waves of monsters, but the monsters are really tough. Much tougher. So we've seen a bunch of these like game jam ideas come out. So I agree. I think we're going to hear probably some game jam releases. Like
like from the previous one, right? Like I think the Deep Wildy rework will come out this year as well at some point. So like right now they'll rework the regular bosses, and I think next year sometime they'll release that like Red Dragon boss, multi-revs, whatever. I think they'll do that. So they'll bring forth some ideas for next year from the summer game jam, which is good, right? Like they'll bring the good ones forward and tweak them, and
I think we're gonna get a new leagues.
Yeah. Oh, true. I forgot about that. Like surely, right?
Yeah, I think we will.
So for next fall, right? Next fall, maybe.
Yeah.
It's hard
We're
to
gonna
say.
get that Mount Cruel thing that you were talking about. I think I agree with the deep wilderness update. I think that might be announced, even though it's anytime you're in the wildy, it's polarizing. But
it might get like a mid-level boss and then some skilling updates, mid to high level boss, and then I think I almost guarantee they have to put something end game in there, like at least one piece of content that's geared towards like the ultra end game players.
In the wildy or just in general?
Just in general. I think that's like pretty much, well, because with Toa taking up so much dev time for so long, we haven't had like an end game update since Tob, basically. Mm-hmm. So I think that's pretty key to get the higher level community interested. And I've mentioned why that's important to like the game's health in the past. Whereas I think it's okay that most updates are catered towards the general public. I do think you need to have some for all levels of player. Just like we have our what was that quest called? Like the beneath the mountain, the one that we both loved.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you have the free to play updates, I think you still need to cater towards all the little communities. We have the speed running thing. Yeah, I think there's a lot out there.
Yeah, I think they have to, right?
So that's got to be one of the main things they're going to do. So that leagues, which everyone loves leagues, or most people do. It's like a well loved thing. I talk to people like basically that don't even play the game but listen to the podcast that just play leagues. They just play leagues, or people that I know from RuneScape, League of Legends, that just play leagues because they don't have the time to like commit to like an account, but they do love the fast XP and they still love the game. So they just come back every once in a while for the fun of it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, at least why don't they do it every year? But anyways,
yeah,
so I think those are the main things.
I did think we were going to get them more often. I'm surprised we don't. I know they're quite ambitious, but I don't know. Still, I thought it was going to be like kind of like Deadman mode. Deadman mode would finish, and then right when it finished, it'd be like a week, and then the next one would start.
Do you think they'll tease a Deadman mode of some sort?
I want to say like no, but I kind of hope they do because it was always kind of refreshing. I never stuck to it too much. I will say I kind of missed Deadman mode. I missed having like this tournament thing that happened like 3 or 4 times a year that we could look forward to. It was a shit show every time.
It really only happened once a year, didn't it? The actual tournaments.
I think they slowed down. I'm gonna look it up, but I'm pretty sure if I remember, they had like I think it was like 3 a year.
They're always a disaster. I don't think they can run one again without the finals being invite to the stage because of the DDoSing issues.
Yeah, they had a bunch of them. So 2016 they had 4 tournaments: March, June, September, December. 17th they had 4 as well: March, June. Yeah, so they always had spring, summer. Wow, every quarter. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. They did it. And then in 2019 was their last one. And then 2020 was when the Deadman servers went
and there's down. Always like server attacks and like individual attacks on players. Like it always happens every time without fail. There's issues with it because of the community being toxic. But that's because the money is up on the line, right? And we know PvPers will do whatever they need to get the W.
Mm-hmm. So and then if the servers weren't getting DDoS, Jagex did some stupid move that really fucked things up.
Yeah, so they've been kind of a calamity every time, but the build up to it is the fun part.
It was fun, and it was just something to look forward to, even though like not super into them, but like they removed them and they never replaced it with something else.
I personally think they replaced it with leagues, which they're not alike in any way. But they replaced the like not casual, but they replaced the looking for the word, the temporary game mode with leagues, and it attracted so many more players. It was way better for business. So of course they stuck with it.
Yeah, and I would have been totally cool with that, but the problem is we get like 1 every 2 years, and it's like we go from having 4 a year to like 1 a year if we're lucky.
It should be yearly. It should be yearly for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it should be like.
Do they even have to do that with much? They don't have to make it like crazy refreshing every time either. They could just tweak certain things and it will change the mode completely.
Yeah, it's a model that like Diablo and what's the other one? Path of Exile. They just like have these seasons and
I feel like they just feel pressure to like constantly change leagues.
Like, they want to make it like completely new and original. Popular,
even if you had reruns of like Twisted League or, what was the second one? Shattered Leagues? I can't remember.
Well, yeah, no, Shattered Leagues. Trailblazers.
Trailblazers. People love that one.
That one was awesome.
People liked all 3 for different reasons, but I feel like even if you ran them back, there would be lots of people who play just to try new strats this time, or to now that they know there's a bit of a meta, they go for certain things. But
I don't know why. Like, I would say, like, if they ran them 4 times a year, but they just made minor switches, like, okay, we play it again, and maybe it's Twisted Leagues again, but all we can do is combat only, or we play. I think if you do them frequent enough, you can have bad leagues, and it's totally fine. If you're running 4 a year, it's okay for 1 league. 4 years,
so many though. Like, you got to strike the balance between it coming up and being like a fun short-term activity that you're going to take a distraction from the main game without it just overtaking the main game as the main way for people to play.
Yeah.
So I think 4 times a year would be way too many. Like at most 2. That's just my personal thoughts on that.
It feels so bad right now with the breaks. Like you get them for like 6 weeks usually, or 8 weeks. It's 2 months. And then it's down. So it's like, and then 10 months of nothing. And like you said, the people who only play for leagues, like, they're not
maybe
playing.
they're just not coming back next time because it's been so long.
Yeah, they probably forget. Like, they might remember to come back. But if they had them, going back to Diablo and Path of Exile, some people play the seasonal modes and that's all they play. They play the seasonal modes and that's it.
Sounds like they're doing a rerun from the information I've been reading. They're going to do a rerun. Yeah. So that will probably be one of the announcements. That, a big quest with a boss, a guild, maybe something deep wildy like an expansion or Deadman related, and then a piece of high level content. That's my guess, and then maybe a skill.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Maybe there's going to be a shipping boat management system, also teased because Relica and all the boats there. Anyways, that's the Winter Summit. We'll wait to see. When is that? Is it on that's on a Saturday? Oh, it's
maybe we'll just get a game within a game, like Gwent was in The Witcher.
Yeah. Bring flesh and blood into RuneScape
because it was actually a sick game, dude. Like
Gwent.
Yeah, Gwent was cool.
I like the idea. I hated playing it because every single friggin' NPC would destroy me.
Yeah, but the fact that you had an actually fully fleshed out game within the game, I thought was pretty cool. So I think they could do something like that for RuneScape for a skill.
Final Fantasy did that all the time too. They would have the card games in it. At least Final Fantasy 9.
And people love collection shit. Like, what if it had its own collection log for like cards, and it was just like a tavern, and you had to go to different taverns to play the game? Maybe that's why we're getting the spoiler.
And then you had like tournaments where it's like the Blue Moon Inn is hosting their
like weekly, and you can challenge other players, and you'd have like MMR and everything too. Like it could be a real thing.
RuneScape Jagex had their own card game called RuneScape Chronicles.
Yeah, dude.
You ever played that game?
No, but they could bring it in as long as it's not terrible.
It was actually fun. I played it, and the way it worked was, this is a really TCG heavy episode, but the way you would play, you'd have your cards and you'd be facing someone, and you were both heroes on a path. And when you play cards, you would put items or monsters on either your path or your enemy's path. So you'd play so you would take turns placing cards, but it made it so that you never knew, are you going to fight a monster next? Or are you going, should you place like an equipment slot as your first path that you're going to walk and maybe get a new weapon so you're stronger in case your enemy puts a monster? Or what if the enemy puts something else that takes away so it's like kind of like strategizing, and you'd place out these cards that were like these events that would happen, and then you and your opponent would cross them and you would see who would win. It was fun.
Well, yeah, if they release this as a skill, they have to make sure people like it though, right? So if it's a card game, it's not going to be for everyone, but they could just release it with killer XP rates. So that it's a simple-ish one to level up, and then if you like it, you can keep grinding. And maybe there's like a guild where it's like a mega, not like a bar or something, but like just a huge hotel tavern thing where you need like 90 to get in, and you can challenge NPCs and like farm them for cards. I don't know. It's definitely got some potential, but obviously we're both TCG fans, so it's easy for us to sit here and be like, yo, it'd be sick. But there's probably some listener out there who's like, dude, keep your goddamn card games out of my old school RuneScape. I am looking forward to the updates. I hope they come up with some cool stuff, and more than that, I hope they just give us more content. That's really what it's all about.
Yep. 2022 has been an okay year. It's been pretty good.
I mean, it can't be worse than 2021. My God, that was a bad year.
We got nothing. For anyone who wasn't playing back then, you didn't miss anything because barely anything came out. Yeah, so it'll be nice to see what's happening for 2023. So it's some exciting stuff. But that's about it. Now, the other piece of news was, we already talked about it, the servers were down on Tuesday. So that's pretty much it. Harless, you got anything?
Yeah, cue the music. So let's roll back, no pun intended, to early October. There was some Reddit posts popping up about players being hacked, not just ordinary players, high-level PVM clan players being hacked for billions of coins. We're talking, one guy got hacked mid-Tob run, and then they wiped him for 20 bill. And most of them were in the same clan, which is called Oblivion, which is a high-level PVM clan. And I had some friends in Oblivion, or still do, who have not been hacked, but were worried about what was going on in their clan. Because like, I think 4 or 5 different people all got hacked. So some people are like, oh, social engineering, they got hacked through like whatever. But I think it was an inside job.
Jagex inside job or Oblivion inside job?
Jagex inside job. Because there's too many people going down. And it wasn't just, then the thing is, then it wasn't just Oblivion members. Other people started to get hacked in the high level community. There was an Iron Man with a 10 billion coin bank, which is quite a lot. His name was Bamf, Baamf. If you ever look him up in game, disgusting account. He has every single pet. He was the first Iron to get every pet. Yeah, back in 2021.
Wow, this guy. Sometimes I look people's accounts up and I'm like, this person loves this game. And I'm really happy to see it.
Yeah, he's
10,000 Sarachnis kills.
Yeah, 20. He actually got quite unlucky on a bunch of bosses too. He had, he was a member of like a high level Iron clan. But anyways, he got taken for 10 bill.
Oof.
And it was pretty rough. So he's obviously quit. There was just a bunch of people dropping left and right. And then there was a post made on Reddit being like, look, all these people have been hacked for all this stuff. And then people in the comments weren't super into it. But the post didn't get as much traction as I thought it would. Maybe because Reddit hates the high level community. I'm not 100% sure on this one. But anyways, after that, hacking stopped. So here's what I'm thinking. There was an inside job akin to our friend Mod Jed.
Okay.
That hacked people for money back in the day and real world traded it. Maybe the same thing is going on, but this time PVMers are being targeted, especially since they're kind of hated more these days, just because of all the stuff that happened with Toa and just before that in general with like the gatekeeping issues.
Oblivion or PVMers?
Just PVMers in general, like high level PVMers. Okay. Especially, you remember when Toa was getting like nerfed left and right, and there were people were blaming high level community for like, oh, they don't want to make my raid harder or whatever. So maybe that's why this inside job started to happen, because it could kind of slip under the radar. But this post went down and then it went dark completely. No one else touched it until yesterday, when they went for the all-out attack and started hacking tons of people left and right. But someone at Jagex caught wind. Maybe it was Mod Matt K. Maybe he let someone know. And they shut down the servers, did a baby rollback. And then I'm thinking, Dills, if we see an employee in the next couple of days be like, I'm leaving Jagex, you know why?
It's because they 100% did it.
Because they went for it. They went for the all-out blackout hack. They were going for people, and someone on Jagex shut it down. They went and pulled the plug on the server. What do you think? Are you into it?
On one hand, you're like, no, there's no way it could happen again. On the other hand, it's Jagex, so it 100% could happen again. And that's probably how they would do it, right? They would probably shut down the servers. They'd spend like a day going through, okay, we have to restore all these people. No, we probably, You
see, the early attacks on the high-level PVMers were just tests to see if they could get away with it with certain accounts. And the fact that they had made them feel, they go for a little bit something more ambitious. So they started hacking more people, and then bang, pull the plug. Aiza saw it coming, dude. He had the foresight of a sphinx over there.
And I mean, the thing with Jed we saw was like, he was able to get the passwords of like anyone's account that he wanted.
Oh yeah, he went in through the back end, no problems.
It's probably written in like a Google Doc online. Just like,
I'm sure it's a little more complicated than that, but I'm pretty sure they could just get into any account they wanted to.
It's an Excel sheet. Yeah. You're right. Okay, well, let's see. We'll and you know what? The thing
hold your breath for resignation in the next few days.
It could take a while though. With Jed, I think it took like a couple months.
Yeah,
until
I mean, in all seriousness, Jed was a whole different beast, wasn't he? Wow, what a guy!
Yeah, I mean, for people who don't know, he was like in like these PvP clans that were doxing and DDoSing each other, and it was like caught on video of him being there while someone was getting doxed. Like someone's sister on Facebook they were exposing like who this person was, their address. Anyway, some real shitty stuff was going on with these PvP clans, and Mod Jet was in one of the clans, and there's just so much. We need to do a whole episode.
We could do we could do like a throwback episode, because I have talked about it before, but I can gather all the details again and just send it, because it's a great story. Or we could just link people to Mod Matt K, who tells the story best, because he was there.
Yeah. There's a YouTube clip there, but eventually though, the Mod Jed ended up actually stealing GP from people's accounts and like actually hacking accounts. And
so much GP, and then real world traded it.
I still remember I was in college. it was my first semester. I was sitting in this classroom. I can picture it completely. There was like these rows, all of them had computers, and I was sitting there on Reddit before class started, and then I read the post on oldschoolrunescape.com, went to the Discord, and everyone was like, no freaking way.
It was insane. That's the biggest drama of all time in RuneScape, surely. Wait, you know what, Dill's another thing we could do is like a top 10 drama list. That would be a great episode. Just diving into some of the historical drama that's happened. Oof. Jed's got to be up there. Yeah, I can hear you.
And, you know, and the craziest part is, I mean, Mod Jet was insane. But there's been like, that's not even like the only story of like JMods fucking around and like up to some shady business. So, anyways, that might be a story for another day. All right. So yeah, fun and light week, but we did get some callers. So let's take a quick break. We'll come back and listen to our lovely callers. All right, we're taking a quick little break and heading on over to the Grand Exchange, where we can talk about where you can support the show. Oh, my voice a little bit grovelly. I'm getting sick. Oh my god, I woke up today. My throat is scratchy. That's always. I've done good. I haven't gone sick in like 2 years. Last time I got sick, I'm pretty sure, was when Dragon Slayer 2 was coming out, and I wasn't really sick. My throat. Excuse me. My voice was just, I was like losing my voice, and I went into work and I started talking, and then I didn't even realize I was losing my voice till I got into work, and everyone's like, you have to leave. And I was like, oh no, I have to leave. And this was the day before Dragon Slayer 2. So I left the day before Dragon Slayer 2, and then it was an easy out that I could call in sick the next day because I'm still sick, right? It was kind of awesome, but then I played Dragon Slayer 2 all day, and I was sick, but I didn't feel sick. It was just my voice was gone. So yeah, that happened. That's pretty crazy. Anyways, guys, we're gonna talk about how you can support the show. One of the ways you can do that is by heading on over to patreon.com/The Wilderness Podcast, where you can make a monthly pledge to help keep the lights on over here. We have some fees that come with running a podcast. It's not like YouTube where you can just upload it and you're good to go. You got to pay like a hosting provider and all this silly stuff. So any support does help for sure. So thank you to Bronze Yawn, Yulfi Ferric, Strosity, P Jackals, Mallard, Spleemo, The Kazi, and Yay Fiber. But of course, thank you to everyone else who does support the show as well. You guys are amazing, and I really, really do appreciate it so much. But if Patreon is not your thing, you can head on over to buymeacoffee.com/dills, and you can make a one-time donation instead in disguised as a coffee. So thank you to Anna for keeping me caffeinated this week. And last but not least, if you are a avid Discord user and you want to upgrade to the Discord premium plan, it's like members for RuneScape, but on Discord, sort of. You can do some interesting stuff, but one of the perks you get for subscribing to Discord is you get 2 server boosts to send anywhere you would like each month. So we have so that is one way you can support, and we have a few people who sent their Discord boosts to our server, which gives us that cool, unique server URL, so you can join our Discord server just by searching discord.gg/thewilderness. So thank you to Toddy, Battlestabs, Chick, Death Titan, aka Twisted Uwu, Flarch King, aka Flarcheroni, Cosmonaut, and Twisted Soul. Thank you guys all so much for boosting that Discord server. I appreciate all the support we get every single week. It really does mean a lot to us. So thank you very much, and I think that's it. So let's get to the end of the show. I always feel like there's some more I'm supposed to say, but no, I don't think there is. Okay, we're back. And we did get some callers. The last question of the week, even though it was like 2 episodes ago, was talk about like how you got into RuneScape, or talk about some story that has to do with like IRL and RuneScape. I'm not wording it properly, but anyways, we got some callers that called in to answer it. So we'll start with Matacause 1. I don't know if I just listened to this last week preparing to play it and then we didn't because we were running low on time, or if if I have played this. But we're gonna listen to Matacause's question, or we're gonna listen to Matacause 1's call in, and if I've already played it, well, I guess we just get to listen to it twice. So let's do it. I went back to review the old episodes and I couldn't find this phone call clip, so I think we're okay.
What's up, Worldy Boys? It's Matacause 1, and I wanted to give a special shout out to Toasty from the Discord. I'm actually not recording in the office today. It is a holiday here, and just taking a little walk around the neighborhood. Anyway, I wanted to call in about the question about kind of how I got into RuneScape, and I remember exactly the moment when I decided, oh, I gotta start playing this game. I was at one of my best friend's houses, and we were playing one of those Dance Dance Revolution games. I'm not sure exactly which one it was.
Did you ever play DDR?
No, I never got into it.
Did you get into Guitar Hero or anything like that?
A couple of my friends had it, but we weren't like super big into it. We were RuneScape degens already, so
nice. See, that's it. I was super into Guitar Hero for a little bit there. I played a little bit of DDR, Dance Dance Revolution, or there's another one called Tap Tap Revolution where you use your keyboard. It was like Osu, but before Osu was the thing. And I remember going to there's a theater by us that had DDR machines, and we would try to go there to play them sometimes. And they always had these they were like the EHP PVMers of DDR. They showed up and they would be in basketball shorts with a tank top, sweatbands on. It'd be like the middle of winter too. They had like towels and stuff. It's pretty insane.
The only story I have about that is that former mod and RuneScape player, what's Traditions? That's my boy. He hasn't played in so long I can't even remember him. Traditions threw the fire and the flames while we were like in a Discord call doing a raid. And of course, I wasn't in the raid, but I was watching. And I think there were like 3 or 4 people, and they got a twisted bow. So
wow,
it was big time, big energy from Through the Fire and the Flames.
That's pretty good. That's a tough one on Guitar Hero. Now all the rage is Beat Saber on VR. Love that game. Anyways, back to the call.
By the way, shout out to those games. They're awesome.
Yeah.
And much better than Just Dance. Anyway, so I saw my friend's older sister, who was my crush at the time, playing, and she was in Barbarian Village, and she was killing, what's the guy's name? Gunther the Brave. And anyway, so I thought, oh my God, what are you playing? This looks super cool. And she told me, it's this game called RuneScape. But be careful, you could get addicted to it like I am. And I said, no worries. I don't have any, addiction problems or anything like that. And little did I know, within about 3 weeks, totally addicted. Anyway, Gunther the Brave, he was my intro. See you guys.
Gunther, best wingman. Yeah.
I just imagine like someone like sitting there shaking at their keyboard being like, stay away, don't end up like me, I'm telling you. You're better off, don't play this game.
Grinding Gunther in the Barbarian Village.
Also, why does he have like such a unique name? Like that's such a throw off. You would think he like drops unique loot, which I don't think he does.
Yeah, especially as a kid knowing nothing about the game, you'd be like, I'm going to grind Gunther for a Gunther steel scimitar.
Yeah, something cool at least.
Yeah.
That's some great stuff. And now you're one of us addicted to this game, and then we talk about it every week, and that definitely doesn't help break the addiction. All right, let's listen to our next call.
G'day, Dills, Heartless, Aristrona here. I gotta say, I totally relate to you, Heartless, when walking around the school with a couple of friends, just talking about what you're going to do that night when you got on RuneScape, and I can imagine it'd probably be very similar, but it was almost just you'd be walking around the school and you're not looking at anything. You're sort of just walking, talking, almost at like a fast pace because you're excited, and you're pumping each other up. It's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna whatever it was. I'm gonna get, I don't know, 40 attack or whatever. And so and everyone's getting excited. And it's just, it was. I don't know. I don't. There's no other games that cause me and my friends to do that. But it's a good memory. But memory that still sticks to me this day is picking flax and making bowstrings. I decided that I was going to corner the market and make millions. But I remember doing this over the school holidays. Folks were painting all the doors in the house, so the house stunk like paint, like that really strong paint. But I was having fun. It was good. But whenever I smell that paint now, instantly just teleports me back to that time and feeling good, just feeling happy. Cheers, guys.
RS Jono, thank you so much for the call in. First off, I will say I listened to a podcast. I forget what it was, but they were talking about how certain senses, they almost act like time machines because they can bring you back to an exact place where you were smelling or hearing something. They're mostly focusing on smell and sound. And so it's kind of interesting. I know that when I hear the song Aces High by Iron Maiden, it reminds me of playing RuneScape because I met someone and they introduced me to that song. And I love that song. I used to listen to it all the time while I was like woodcutting. It reminds me of being at the Four. You go to Sears Village just south of it, or just like west of the Legends Guild is that Four spot. And it's by that weird tower with the hedges. That always reminds me of that.
That's funny you say that too, because I think feel can also be the same way.
Interesting.
When I was a kid, besides RuneScape in the summer, I would play a lot of soccer. So I had a net. My dad and I built a net while he built it. I held the net while he stapled it on. So I had a net in the backyard. And I kind of had two because I had this shed that I could smash the ball into. So I used to just play a game of soccer like against myself and like pretend to be characters and stuff while I was grinding. And I'd do that for hours on end every day. And I almost always was barefoot on the and because it was so hot where I was, the grass was all stubbly and it was completely dead. So I was mostly playing on like dirt with dead grass. So whenever I feel that dead grass feeling, it teleports me back to when I was just hours on end in the heat playing soccer against myself. Boy, good memories, dude. I always had so much fun. It was good for my skills too. Definitely upped them.
Nice. Doing the IRL level.
And then I'd go back in and I'd cook some sharks for a few hours and then go back out, play a few games for an hour or two, and then back to the sharks. You know how it is.
Yeah, that's a healthy balance. You're not stuck in the basement all day. You're getting fresh air and sun. That's good. When I was in school, I never really had too many friends who played RuneScape. So my mom passed away when I was like 13 years old or something. So I had to go to a new school. And I remember when I went to that new school, obviously you don't know anyone there and it's very intimidating. Plus you're going through this like real life traumatic event. And I remember the way I met people was I was sitting in class and these two people were talking about RuneScape. Well, one person was talking about RuneScape and the other person was like, dude, shut up with RuneScape. Da, 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 da. And then I was like, oh, you play RuneScape? And then I met them and we became like good friends. And then we still kind of talk to this day. He doesn't play RuneScape anymore. But like that's how I was able to meet some people. But even in high school, my core group of friends, like most of them were playing World of Warcraft, and like playing RuneScape was like a little embarrassing.
The same for me. Like it always was. Even my friend who I walked around the school with for all those years, he quit when we went to high school. And I quit for a while, but I came back to it maybe in like grade 11 or 12.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, I was always very embarrassed. And I think it's because most of the people I played with then moved on to World of Warcraft, so they kind of looked down on RuneScape. Yeah. But I remember, I probably talked to this already, but there's this guy, his name was Oliver, and we had wood shop class together. And he played RuneScape, and he always wanted to talk about RuneScape. And I really wanted to as well, but I was embarrassed of other people hearing me play RuneScape. So then I would like constantly like shut his like the conversation down. And he was like a normal person. He wasn't like being super weird about it. He was just like wanting to talk about it. And I was always giving like non-answers and kind of shut it down. But deep inside, I was like, ooh, I really want to talk about RuneScape, but can't and won't.
You know, I actually
public.
overheard some kids today while they were going to one of their classes. They were like, "Oh, you have to go into the settings and do this." They were just talking about, don't even know what game it was, something on Roblox. But you know, I'm glad to see they're still having those experiences where they're just so excited about certain things.
Yeah, I was gonna say like gamers and people like who like enjoy like nerdier hobbies. Like let's say like Magic, new Magic cards come out. You get excited for these new releases, and with video games, whether it's like a new update or maybe it's like a new Modern Warfare 2 came out or whatever, some new COD game came out recently, which gets a lot of people excited and talking about it. But it does happen in other mediums, movies and music too. A new album drops, people get pretty hyped about it. Anyways, Aristotle, thank you so much for the call-in. Let's take our next call.
Hey, Dills. Hey, Heartless. Prayer Zaddy here. My out-of-game RuneScape experience, the reason I got into the game was because of a kid that I lived near, and he got me into the game. And I remember very vividly him being the talk of the town because he had a trimmed rune kite shield before the GE came out. But after my dad would kick me off because I had spent too much time playing video games, we would go outside and just like walk in the woods behind our house and talk about RuneScape and what we want to do, what we wanted to accomplish when we were going to take out the cockroach warriors next in the next time we logged on. And yeah, it was super fun, and I still play today. I don't know if he does. Thanks, guys. Peace.
First off, I think we need a little bit more context on who the cockroach warriors are, because definitely feel like there's more to that story. It's funny too. There's so many. He mentioned, I don't think this person still plays anymore. I have so many people, not so many people. I have a few people on my friends list. You know when like somebody stops playing and their name turns into like brackets and a bunch of numbers and letters on your friends list?
Yeah.
I have a few people on there that I've kept on there because I don't know who it is, but I have a few people I was like really good friends with that I just like, we both stopped playing or what, something happened. But I'm always like, man, I feel like there's a good chance they're still playing today because they were so addicted back then.
Maybe they just made a new account, right? Like I used to have an account. My old RuneScape name was Doom Duck 3, the legend. Dude.
No way. Sick.
Yeah, I loved the account. That's what my 9-year-old or 8-year-old self came up with. It's so
badass.
Funny. Yeah, but I tried to get it when I came back to this game, but it had been taken or like some. So I was like, whatever, I'll go with the Heartless B.
Fair enough. Yeah, well, we need to do like a Lost Connections or something one day.
For sure.
Try to reunite some people. Did you have any friends back in the day that they had some sort of item that you were like, holy shit, this guy is insane because he's got blank item?
No, I can't remember. I can't really remember.
I know
I always had the trimmed helm. I was told that story. I was the trim helm guy. I was that guy with the gold or the Sarah helm or whatever I could afford at the time.
Yeah, it's wicked. The friend that I had met once my mom had passed away and I moved to a new school, he was like, I was like level 70, he was like level 100. So I like looked at him and was like, this guy is a god in game. I didn't worship him in real life. That'd be really weird. But in the game, I was like, there's Sarah, Zamrock, and then you got this guy. Yeah, I remember he had a Santa hat at some point and party hats, dragon like just loaded. And I remember just thinking like, gosh, like this guy has like, he's a high level. He's got all the items in the game. Like this guy is friggin' crazy.
This guy's a killer.
But, yeah. Dragon chain was like the big flex. If you saw someone with a dragon chain, you're like, wow.
Yeah,
like,
those were so expensive.
Yeah, they were like 15 mil.
You basically
then,
had to be a god PVMer back then to get a dragon chain, or like just wildly good at flipping, which means you're probably older and took advantage of little kids.
Yeah, gotta get rich somehow.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call in. Next up, we have Daft Duke.
Hey Dills, Heartless, it's Daft Duke. I'm a long-time listener. Shout out to Manacost One for inspiring me to share my story with OSRS. It's not quite out of the game memory, but I was 11 at the time. I think it was like 2003, and I was playing RuneScape 2, the OG game, and classic story. I actually found a girlfriend at the GE. I just remember, like, at the time we were talking for a while, and she's like, I have membership and you don't, and I got my mom's credit card number so I could pay for your membership if you wanted. And I was like, oh my God, like, sweet. And then, I was naive enough to give her my password. And I just remembered the first moment when I logged in as a member and I didn't have to pay for it. Like, just some random person on the internet paid for my membership, and I got to explore all this content. It was crazy. I got like 6 months of membership out of it. In the end, she stole my red Halloween mask off that account, which is a big deal, but totally worth it. The moral of the story is, she, quote unquote, was probably some 60-year-old guy, but, in the end, it was worth it. I got a great time.
That is, I can't, like, that's like, I mean, you got hacked, so
yeah, but I mean, you get
hacked.
6 months free membership. Is like, as a kid, that's the dream. I would have paid a red party hat for that any day.
You like can't even put a price on that. I mean, you can. It's like $7 a month.
No, you can't, because my parents, there's no shot they would have given me their credit card, which I think is insane. Like, I wonder how many parents like get into trouble because how like credit cards will just stay on accounts. Like, oh yeah, I'll buy my kid this one skin for their birthday, but then the kid just goes and buys a bunch of shit. Like, can they refund it? Like, if they buy like 2K of loot boxes or something with their parents' credit card, not knowing the value of money, I'm sure there must be something. I'm sure there's some nuts stories out there.
Yeah, I remember Jack Black talked about his son or his kid made a bunch of purchases that way, and he tried to get refunds, and it was actually tough. Like, the company was fighting him on it.
Brutal. I mean, maybe it's Jack Black, so he has a little more money, but I mean, still tough. It's especially if you couldn't afford it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If like maybe you just afford like, oh, you can get them one skin or something for their birthday, and then they go and ding you for $5,000 worth of loot boxes. Jeez.
I remember having to I didn't send a check, my parents did, sent a check into Jagex to like,
send them
for my membership
in the mail. Yeah, that's how my friend used to do it too.
Yeah, and I remember it taking like weeks because I would go to my dad's every other weekend and I would go there. He'd had internet.
It's like a $7 check or something, right?
Yeah, something like that. And then you would check. Nope, you're not a member yet, so it didn't go through. Gosh, that was brutal. And then
imagine how many mail-ins they got. It must have been tough.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then you lost the Halloween mask, which at the time seemed worth it, but you probably look back and you're like, shit. That's
I mean, still in the end, though, I'd take that deal. And I would have paid all of everything I owned back in free to play to become a member and just restart fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was
big.
It was a big
deal. Members was huge. Because free to play is huge.
I wonder what the split was back then. Because now I think it's 10% are free to play. But I mean, how many of those are bots? Probably most of them. Yeah. But still, it's in that realm, 10 or less. I wonder what the split was. It must have been much, much closer to 50-50 or even more free to play. Probably way more free to play, honestly.
I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like you're right.
I'd be curious to see those stats because most people are kids that played, right? You pick it up on Miniclip or at the school ground or wherever you were.
And there's a lot to do free to play.
Yeah, there's a ton for a kid, especially if you're little. Like you're not going to get through that much content in your like hour of playtime on your toaster.
Anyone who's like playing this game for the first time, I'll see it on Reddit sometimes. Someone's like, hey, I just started playing this game. What should I do? Some people will say become a member and bypass a bunch of the early levels. But I'm always like, really? Like if it's the first time playing, enjoy the shit out of free to play because eventually you'll have to pay money.
Yeah, why not? Do some quests and then become a member when you're ready. There's so much content. But yeah, back when you were a kid, man, like they was slow going and we were not efficient. I used to mine. Oh my God. Once I got scanned, I told you I got scanned for like mostly all my gear. I had like maybe a rune pickaxe and maybe 100K left. So
Mm.
I was like, I'm becoming a miner. I was like crying to my sister. I was like, I'm gonna become a miner. I'm so sick of this. Like I remember being like actually in tears that I'd lost all of my gear. And my sister was like, whatever, shut up. So I used to mine coal, full inventories below, you know where the Edgeville dungeon is? Below there?
Yeah, with skeletons, right?
Dude, yeah, and I'd walk it all the way back to the bank. And of course, I was in my full rune the entire time. So I had no run energy. Just walking. Has to be done. You have to walk down in your... As soon as I could afford upgrades, I'd be like from adamant plate to like rune plate.
That's funny.
God, I was stupid. I was maybe getting like, 70 coal an hour. And it was slow too with the rune pick, man. And you're competing too because there are people down there. Why? Why were people doing that? It was crazy. What a time back in the day.
You had to because all the other spots were taken.
Yeah.
You're like, well, okay.
It's a rough
I'm not
life.
competing in Alcarad for them. Shit.
Yeah. Another spot I remember doing was tons of ranging for the lesser demons in Karamja on that little island. You know where the red spider's eggs are now? Like near the entrance to the Tazar. I used to sit in that little safe spot. I used to just send range levels.
Same all the time.
Like a little bit later after the coal rebuild.
And you like rune medium helmets drop from these guys.
Oh god, they just so
that's
much money.
That's 10K a pop.
Yeah, and that's like, a couple hundred lobsters, and then you go PKing with that money.
Shit.
Yeah, those are the days.
Kind of miss those days.
Those are the days. Shall we do our final caller?
The final caller. Let's do it.
Hello, Dills, Heartless, and guests. This is Mr. Teds, also known as Shemp Malone, also known as John. I'm sitting here staring at my blank screen, wondering what in the world I should do with myself. The servers are down, and I have the rest of the day off, and so trying to figure out what to do. But it got me wondering about an idea I have for a question of the week, and I'm curious how you guys would answer this. If it came about that when the servers were restored, all account progression for everybody was wiped, what would you do? Would you make a new account? Heartless, I know you've spent hours and hours and hours on your Iron Man, and I can't imagine you want to make a new one if this one got deleted. But I'm just curious what you guys would do. I know one of the first things I would do is try to score some of those 4-letter usernames. Like I'd love to get the name John. I'd love to get some of that stuff. Back in the day on my WoW server, when they did resets, I got a ton of unique names that I'm still holding on to. So anyways, curious how you guys would or what you guys would do. Be well. Thanks.
Ooh, great question. Heartless, what would you do? We log in today. Every account's like you're set all the way back on Tutorial Island.
No, I'd make a UIM.
Really? You'd make a UIM?
Yeah, I'd just go ham on it, straight to PVM. 100%.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think because I've had the Iron Man experience, UIM's probably even worse, but I think I'd have a really good time doing the planning and getting into like raids and like, because I like doing stuff. You know how I like to play the game, like to completion on a boss and then move on to the next one. That's really rewarding for UIM people. So I think it would align with my play style. But and yeah, it just would be a new challenge. Yeah, I don't know if I could remake an Iron.
It's funny. There's a lot of there's a handful.
Quite the question though. Quit would be the other option, of course.
Yeah,
it would have to cross your mind. I'm sure we'd lose lots of people if that was the case.
100%. It would be.
Could you imagine they lost
about
all the data and it just got reset? Like I don't even know. I don't know enough about computers to know if that's like possible. Like surely they have backups. Sorry if you hear my cat in the background. He's not happy. He wants dinner.
Is that Rune?
Yeah, his name is Rune. Yes,
Rune.
Rune, the boy. He's a big boy. He wants his food.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's a great question, man. I think probably UIM would be my move, though.
Yeah,
what about you? What would you do if you just got hard wiped? Because I know you're an account guy. You love your accounts.
Yeah, I don't know. I do see you making a UIM. There's a few endgame irons in our clan who have since made a UIM, and they've all seemed to be hooked on it.
Yeah, my friend Weez, who has basically had the same trajectory as me, our entire accounts for like three years, basically. We've been doing the same things at the same time, which has been kind of a blessing because we get to talk to each other. He just maxed recently. He's a bit more of a skiller than I am. But he is not having a good time with end game Iron Man PVM, and I do not blame him. Just because of like the amount of hours you have to put in for like the minimal upgrades. So he's diving in on the UIM, and I'm looking over. I'm like, okay, looks kind of fun. It's kind of fun to like redo certain parts of the game, but
yeah, and it's like it's different.
At the same time, I love the like collection part of Iron Man. Like you get to just collect all the items, which is a huge motivator. Yeah. So I kind of caught between two minds, but it's definitely it's an intriguing game mode that I think would be a lot of fun, especially in the early to mid game.
Yeah, I think it's again great when you need a break from the iron. As for me, I don't know what I would do. It would be tough. I wouldn't want to quit, but I can't see myself making my main again and going through all of that. I could see myself. I don't like the early game I've mentioned. I'm not a huge fan of it at all.
At least it's quick.
It can be quick. Yeah, I don't know. It feels too long. Because I've already done it multiple times too.
25 times because you keep making accounts. You get to the mid game, you're like, let's make another one. I go through the early game. Except this time I do it with 10 HP, so the early game lasts 20 times longer. Dills, you're putting it on yourself at some point.
It's a different experience.
It's a different experience. It's what you're telling yourself.
Yeah, I don't like.
That should be our question of the week. 100%. What would you do?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I would still play because I play this game more, a lot. I play it for more reasons than just to play a game, like socializing. It's like a hobby too, in its own. Like I hesitate to tell people I'm a gamer because it's like, I mean, sort of, but
I mean, you have a podcast about it too. So it's a big part of your life.
Yeah. A lot of friends and yeah, but I couldn't make a main. Maybe I'd have to make some sort of weird combat only Iron Man or something.
So you'd probably go Snowflake, eh?
I would do something different until maybe I was like, okay, I just want to go kill shit normally. Yeah, I couldn't see myself just making a main right away or making an iron because I'd have to do something maybe a pure. I don't even know. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know what I would do. Yeah, and it is a great question of the week. What would you do? Your account's wiped. What would you do? Why? Or what sort of account? And what account did you just lose? I'm losing, Heartless, you and I are both losing lots of hours there. Lots of hours and lots of progression done. I'm very attached to my account too. I think you are too, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's hard to say. And so yeah, that's the question of the week. But also, let's make it. We can have two questions this week since we missed last week. What did you do when the servers were down? How did you cope? Let's hear from you. A few episodes back, some months ago, there was that Hurricane Fiona that came through my area. I barely got hit, but I stayed up all night listening to this radio show and I played a bit of it. But they would just have people call in and he would just be like, they would just talk. He's like, so what are you doing right now? Everything okay? Do you have power? Tell me, like, what are you doing to get through it? What are your plans for tomorrow? And he would just like talk them through it. We're doing our version of that.
You call in, I'm grinding Zulrah, man. Hey, what? What's your plans tomorrow? Oh, just more Zulrah. Yeah, I'm trying to save up for this Dragon Hunter crossbow. I can see Dill's calling in about that.
For him blacklisted from the CBC.
Blacklisted from the CBC. Oh.
Okay, that is it for our questions and all that fun stuff. Thanks everyone for calling in. My favorite segment of the show. But Heartless, you have some news to share about when RuneScapers aren't grinding XP, they're stamping bingo cards.
They are stamping bingo cards. The 8th bingo that we are running, the winter bingo, often the most popular of our 3 bingos, we are sending it on December 26th. Start time, it's not really relevant. I think it's like 12 Pacific time, so like 3 Eastern. I think that's what we've been going with recently, so that the Brits can get on and grind. So yeah, 3 EST is the start, and then it ends 1 week later, which I believe is January 2nd. Don't quote me on that, but it is starting on the 26th of December. So bingo, if you don't know, it's basically like a bingo card. There are a bunch of tiles that you have to complete. This year we're going with a bit of a twist on the classic bingo. We have a 7x7 board. It's enormous.
It keeps getting bigger.
It keeps getting bigger because the teams are huge. We run like 17, 18 player teams so that people can grind. There are lots of easy things on there. Someone things on the outside. Get a piece, get a boater from a medium clue that'll take you off a tile. And we're going to switch it up this time. So tiles will be worth different points. In the past, tiles have all been worth the same amount, just 1 point. And then you get bonuses for rows. But this time, tiles on the outer ring will be worth the least, so they'll be worth like 1 point. And as you go towards the center, tiles will get harder and they'll be worth more points. So there's incentive for grinding. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It doesn't matter if you can only play like a few hours in the tournament or during the week, or if you can, grind like 8 hours a day. It doesn't really matter where you are. We balance the teams so that everyone gets to contribute. And it's honestly just, where Dills and I were chatting about this earlier. Like Dills asked me, what are you more excited for, Christmas or bingo? My honest answer is bingo. It's honestly that much fun. Just staying up all night and grinding, having a few drinks, meeting some new friends. Every time it's a blast. So highly recommend you come out, make some new friends, and just enjoy RuneScape in a new and exciting way.
Mm-hmm. It's people really like it. And the focus, we got a whole crew. Heartless, you're at the head of it, but a whole crew working on bingo. And but the main goal isn't so much about. The main goal is always fun. Like as long as if everyone has fun, it's successful.
And generally, I would say almost everyone has an absolute blast, or at least has a lot of fun playing bingo. No matter how much time they get to put in, and win or lose, like at the end of the day, it does not matter to me. It's so much fun playing bingo.
Yeah, and the reason the teams are so big, like you hear like 15 people, holy shit, it's a lot of people. But this way, if you're someone who wants to socialize and meet people, you'll have tons of people who are ready to be on, or they probably are in voice chat already, and you can hop in and talk, and they can take you on your first raid, or you can go do some Temporos together. Whatever it is, you're just like hanging out with some people. And if you're not don't want to be super social, you don't need to. You can sit back and just grind away. Absolutely. And send in a picture when you grind something.
So the sign-up sheet, I will make it available in the description of this podcast. And then there'll be a ping in a couple of days in our Discord if you'd like to join. So both are good ways for you to sign up. So either in the Discord under event announcements or in the description of this podcast, you can link to the Google form that you fill out to sign up. Entry fee is $2 million. That goes towards the pot. At the end, one of the teams ends up winning a fairly large chunk of money. And don't forget, like even if you just grind in the week, you can make a ton of money in bingo. And it doesn't matter what level your account is. Like some of these tiles, like I'll tease a few of them. So we've got Get an Unsired, which is kind of like a mid-level thing. These are some of the outer rings, some of the easier ones. Get a Pharaoh Scepter, that's a thieving one. Get a dive from Guardians of the Rift. Get a black G piece, which comes from easy clues. Like pretty much all the content is on here. Tome of Water or Fire is on the sort of that middle ring. Get a Spirit Shield from Corp. There's quite a lot of things. And you get to the middle, it gets harder. You got raids in there, Next or Nightmare Unique, a piece of Missouri, a piece of Dagon High. It gets tricky as you get to the inside, but it's doable from kind of all levels of accounts. So I really recommend you sign up. It's a lot of fun every time. And yeah, if you can't afford the $2 million, I can cover you there, no problem. But
we always have people who donate some extra.
We have a little extra in the pot. And we encourage donations too. Like it's always nice to have the pot. I think the pot hit like 390 mil last time. So
can't quite remember.
A fair chunk of change for sure.
Yeah, everything goes straight back into bingo. And yeah, but there's always, if you can't afford it, that's not a reason not to sign up. There will be some money kicking around to cover your costs.
And so the 26th till the 2nd, 26th of December until the 2nd of January are the dates. So Monday to Monday. It doesn't really matter. I guess most people are off work. Not everyone, but hopefully you have some time off and you're able to come and send a few hours of bingo here and there.
Totally. Very exciting. So the Discord server is discord.gg/thewilderness. You can pop in there, you can find it, or just ask one of us and we'll point you in the right direction. So that's where it is. Our in-game clan is Clan Wild. If you are not in a clan, you should join a clan because it's much more fun to play with other people. Our clan is always open for anyone who wants to join. Our email is at the wilderness podcast at gmail.com. Our Twitter is at the wilderness rs, and we have a speak pipe link in below if you want to call in to answer one of the questions. You don't even have to answer the question. You can just call in to tell us something else. You can also write an email or send us a message on Twitter or even just on Discord, whatever it is. And it doesn't always have to be for the question. We can call in for other reasons too. That's it from me. Heartless, anything from your end?
Nope, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So I have a song picked out, and this one's called Dead Quiet, and it's a music track that's unlocked near the northern entrance of Mort Mire Swamp, or the shore east of the dig site. It can also be unlocked while temple trekking, during the bog puzzle, when battling swamp snakes, or during combat events. 99% of people unlock this song in the swamps, while 0.17% unlock at the dig site and 0.02% unlock it during temple trekking. Wow, that's cool. It's kind of interesting data pulled from RuneLight. Anyways, I picked Dead Quiet because this week the servers were dead quiet, so it's quite fitting. But that's about it for us. Thanks everyone for listening. Catch you next week.
See ya.
This is your before and after story. Prepare for an incredible career in nursing. At Southeastern College, experience expert hands-on training. Learn real-world skills in our professional lab and simulated settings. And train for opportunities as a practical nurse, registered nurse, or career advancement with our RN to BSN program. At Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.